Next, Sublet API tree. There are number of API we are having that I will let you know. Even I just explain you that what is a Sublet config and Sublet interface and serializable that I explained the previous session, right? The hierarchy of the HTTP classes here. So look at here, Sublet interface is the central abstraction of the Java Sublet API. It defines the life cycle of method of Sublet. So it is having three methods: init, service, and destroy. This init, service, and destroy represent the life cycle of Sublet. Okay. So one Sublet call, first it call the init method and initialize it. Then it call the service method and provide the request response to the client. Once the application is getting suppose stopped, then immediately the destroy method will call and destroy the sublet. Once the server is getting done, okay, your sublet will destroy in that case. So all the sublet implementation must implement it either directly or indirectly by extending a class which implements the sublet interface. The two classes in the Sublet API, as I said, it is a generic sublet and HTTP sublet, right? Okay, and there are some other interfaces we are having, like we can say sublet request, right? Sublet response. So these two objects hold the request and response. So sublet request object is used to obtain the client request information such as request parameters, content type and length, local of the client, request protocol, all these things are there. Response interface assists a sublet in sending a response to the client. Now there is another interface we are having, Sublet config, which represents the configuration information of the sublet. Let us have a 20 sublets in my application. So there's a 20 sublet configuration. Every sublet is having own configuration. So this sublet configuration represents the configuration information, while there's only one sublet context in your application. So every application is having one sublet context. Okay. Now you can set something. Let us say I have a 20 sublet. So first sublet is setting some value to the sublet context. Rest 19 sublet can retrieve some data whatever it has been set by the first sublet, okay, from the sublet context. So it represents the environment of the sublet. Okay. So it's used to communicate with the sublet container. There's only one sublet context as per application, as I said. This is initialized when the web application is started and destroyed only when the web application is being shut down. So once application is started, it is getting initialized. What is the single thread model? By default, your sublet is multi-threaded, right? You want to make it single threaded? Implement this interface. Just say here class name, extend HTTP sublet, and then say implements single thread model. Then your sublet will be the single threaded. Okay. So sublet handle only one request at a time. It is a marker interface, so you need not to implement any method. It is not having any method, right? Like serializable. We just implement the serializer, right? Similarly, we just implement the single threaded model here, right? Now next is the, look at this, Java x.sublet class. So Java x.sublet class, that was the interfaces. Classes is here. We are having generic sublet class. We are having sublet context event, sublet input stream, sublet output stream. Okay. So generic sublet is having implementation of sublet, right? It is abstract class. If someone wants to extend, they have to override the service method. Okay. So it can be extended to develop our own protocol based sublet, like as its name, generic sublet. Sublet context event. This is the event class for notification or changes to the sublet context of web API. Once the changes happen with the sublet, one notification is getting generated automatically and it is logged to the server. There's a sublet input stream, provides an input stream for reading binary data from a client request. Okay. So whenever any input come, this guy will take care. So this is just a byte stream for handling byte stream. Sublet output stream, you want to write some data to the client, we are having sublet output stream. And you want to handle the Unicode characters or character stream, we are having print writer for that. Okay. So sublet request attribute event, this is the event class for notification of changes to the attribute of sublet request. So if we set some attribute with this request and later we change, okay, this event will get generated. Sublet request event, this event class indicates life cycle events of the sublet request. Okay. Now there are some exceptions we are having in the sublet which you have to take care. One is the sublet exception, second is the unavailable exceptions. Sublet exception defines a general exception a sublet can throw when it encounters difficulty. Second is the unavailable exception, defines an exception that a sublet or filter throws to indicate that it is a permanently or temporary unavailable. So this is only two exceptions we are having. Okay. Now Java X sublet HTTP. So there's a one Java X sublet package. Now there's another package we are having Java X dot sublet dot HTTP. So if you are handling the or developing HTTP sublet, you have to access this package. In this package, we are having HTTP sublet request. Now in the previous, we have seen sublet request only, right? Sublet response, same job it is doing. But here we are having now HTTP sublet request and response, right? So this is for the handling or providing information of request for HTTP based sublet. Okay. Another we are having HTTP session which will help us to manage the session for users, right? If user doing login till logout, we have to manage the session. So this guy will help you to do so. Okay. Now classes. We are having HTTP sublet class. If you extend, you are ready with the HTTP sublet. Okay. You are having user defined sublet after extending. HTTP sublet request wrapper. So provides a convenient implementation of the HTTP sublet request interface that can be subclassed by developers wishing to adapt the request to the sublet. Similarly, we are having HTTP sublet response wrapper, cookie. These are the classes we are having. So this guy will also help you to handle the like managing the session of the client, right? So cookies is one of that, HTTP session is another one. I'll explain you in details once I say